Well, Memorial Stadium looks over Nebraska soccer field for this Sunday afternoon matchup. First ever between Maryland and Nebraska, and our look at the starting 11 for Maryland Terrapins. A lot of versatility up top with Pratt.
And keep an eye out for number 22, Sade Pratt. She scored the game winner over Iowa on Thursday, but she also shifted to a central defender position, so she could find herself there as well. On the other end, we've got Nebraska Cornhuskers. Number 11, Mamie Conroy, tying goal versus Rutgers on Thursday. Strong, powerful, great in the air. Look for her in the box.
So the starting 11s for both teams. Nebraska, regular season champion last year, also winning the Big Ten tournament. They have not won in conference play yet, and they've been especially dominant over the years here at home, but this year a little bit of a different story. Winless in their first 3 home conference games. It's Nebraska in the white. Here's Maryland possessing. Skurlitz, the right back. Sade Pratt, who scored a marvelous goal, number 22 for Maryland. Spreads it around as Maisie McCune's cross is gobbled up. A little bit of an Indian summer day here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Low 80s, a nice breeze, sunny conditions. She's navigating her way through the midfield. Riley Barger. It's Victor trying to find a hole, probing, twisting and turning her way in. Left-footed shot, and she finds the back of the goal. Sarah Fichtner, early road strike for Maryland.
What a great piece of work out here, Sarah Fichtner. She does this all on her own. Takes 1, 2, 3 touchers. Look at that composure, and then slots it to the far post. Her composure, her touches on the ball, and her willingness to get her head up, find some space, and then take it on herself. Fantastic start for the Maryland Terrapins.
Third-year head coach Jonathan Morgan saying that was going to be crucial today to be successful against this Nebraska team, to have composure on the ball, and we saw it there first on the early surprising strike from Maryland. We'll see how Nebraska responds here after allowing that goal on their home field. And speaking of Jonathan Morgan, a little flavor in Big Ten country. Had an experience as a volunteer way back in the day with the Rutgers program. Of course, now joining the Big Ten Conference with Maryland, and a few years as an assistant with Lori Walker at Ohio State.
And you've got to be pleased with this start if you are Coach Jonathan Walker. I had a chance to look at the statistics and when Maryland tends to score. They've scored 8 of their 10 goals, now 9 of their 11 goals in the first half. So clearly he's got them doing something right and well prepared as they begin the matches.
And Coach Morgan saying Nebraska is such a different team to prepare for than the rest of the teams in the conference. They'll kind of just lull you to sleep and then all of a sudden fly 4 players at you with pressure.
And they flop back and forth between being disciplined and organized defensively and then putting you under high pressure. And because Maryland's a team that can hold the ball and possess it so well, it's important for them not to get lulled to sleep, as you mentioned, Dan, and then kind of lose that focus so Nebraska can pounce on it, win it, and attack to goal.
Mamie Conroy, dispossessed. Launched out by Maryland. This is a Nebraska team. They average over 1.5 goals a game this year, but lately the well has gone dry. Just 2 goals over their last 4 matches, and now all of a sudden, down on your home field.
Well, and it's tough because you have this game plan and the coach puts all of these structures and these plans in place, and then just a couple minutes into the game, you give up a goal and everything has to change. So it's a little bit challenging. Nebraska has gone down quite a few times early in matches, and they're now having to dig themselves out of a hole. This is, again, another situation where they've given up an early goal.
Kreutner knocking it down, but only for a moment, as Maryland still enjoying possession. Remember this Nebraska team, they lost Ari Romaro, Jordan Jackson last year, now both playing in the NWSL for the Houston Dash. 2 big losses as they try to deal without those two.
And particularly Ari Romero. She was a central defender for them. She organized their back line. So that's certainly a little bit of a loss that their two central defenders, particularly Jalen Oderman, number 13 in the back line, is going to have to kind of take over that new role.
It's Maryland returning 8 starters. It's John Walker, a familiar name in this conference, 21st season, and he said he's been pretty happy with the performance of his team. Not just the results, though, have been there. Illinois was really their only bad game this year. They haven't been overmatched in any of the other ones.
It seems like last season, winning the conference tournament, 19 wins on the year, that things were just kind of falling their way. And this season, they've still been playing pretty well. They just quite haven't been able to find the result, and things haven't been falling their way in the same way it did last year.
Good exchange between Flynn and Conroy. Final connection, final pass, not there yet for Nebraska. And for these Cornhuskers, Coach Walker was saying that they responded Thursday night in a 1-1 draw with Rutgers. They just need to keep believing in themselves, because all these losses have been against ranked teams for Nebraska. Here's Mamie Conroy, always dangerous, number 11 lurking, now over the ball. Shoots it over to Hansen. And the first claim by Rochelle Beedlands. What are the keys to victory for the Maryland Terrapins?
It's going to be important for them to possess the ball, take good care of it, and move it quickly. And I also think concentrating and focusing, particularly on any set plays they give up defensively, it's been an area of improvement, according to Coach Jonathan Morgan, in some ways, in somewhere he wants to continue to get better at throughout the season.
Kreutner tangled up with Gerlitz for just a moment. Soft touch there. Sade Pratt scored that amazing goal against Iowa on Thursday. Goal scorer in this game, Sarah Fickner. She had some fun on this right side earlier. This time tries the cross. Easily gathered in by Nebraska.
Come on, Mimi. Come on, Mimi. Come on, Mimi. What's your rush? One up. Here we are.
And this is a good example of Maryland having a bit of patience. They were able to break Nebraska's pressure. Sade Pratt take a phenomenal ball off of that long service and turn to go to goal. And now they're regrouping, they're possessing it again. It's that savvy combination of possessing, and then once you can break that pressure, combining going forward with numbers. Maryland's done a good job of that in the first 10 minutes or so here.
Flag coming up on J.C. Johnson and Nebraska, and we talk about the great goal just a few days ago from Sade Pratt. This is a former defender, first year as a striker, and she looks like she's getting comfortable.
Composure in the box, great service from the wide area, and look, she just takes on number 22, Melanie Pickert, takes a little bit touch towards that her right foot, and then serves it towards that far post, and that really was the difference, 1-0. Maryland gets the win.
And that's got to be so challenging for Sade Pratt to make that transition from the back line in midfield to a striker role. Here's J.C. Johnson, always elusive. Looking for the open window there, taking a deflection. And first corner of this match will be awarded to Nebraska.
J.C. Johnson does a great job with her first touch, a little bit deception, a little bit of swerve, and then composure to cut that ball back across towards her right foot, earning the corner kick for her team.
I like that word you use, swerve, because that's exactly what J.C. Johnson was doing. Poor service, easily dealt with by Maisie McCune in Maryland. So more pressure now going forward from Nebraska. Carolyn Flynn backs off it. Sade Pratt whistled on the foul. Well, we saw the keys for Maryland. How about the Cornhuskers?
Well, I think it's going to be important for them to win the counter-attacking battle. Nebraska is a composed team, so they've got to go forward quickly when they do. And just right here, they've got to focus on set plays. This is an important key for them.
Punched in by Ehrman. Pratt there looking for it. And Hansen helps nudge it over for Nebraska. Carolyn Gray, always a good option, is Mamie Conroy. She's the target player. Won 19 balls in the air versus Rutgers. As Gray was just pushed off it. Here's what led to this corner.
This is a good bit of combination play by Nebraska. There's a lot of Maryland numbers around the ball defending, but good movement off the ball to earn this corner kick.
Samantha Ehrman moves the microphone to her liking. These set pieces. An important topic for both coaches this week with their players and personnel.
Keep an eye on the far post here.
Ehrman plays it short. Kreutner. Looking for that second ball, and they'll have to go back for it. It's Hannah Dittmer.
Haley, closer.
As we watch these corner kicks and free kicks, Nebraska head coach John Walker talking about it this week. It's the basic thing off of a set piece. Who touches it first oftentimes? That's the big game.
It's just a mentality. It's a discipline to say that you're going to win the ball first. You're going to get to it. You might not be perfect in where you clear it, but you're committed to getting there first. And that's just a tough mentality. Nebraska's had it for so many years under John Walker, and I know it's something he emphasizes not only on set pieces, but just defensively in general with his team.
It was interesting talking to a veteran like Coach Walker, who has seen so much college soccer over the years. Do they man-on-man mark or do they zone mark? He said a little bit of both. As Mamie Conroy was waiting for the service, doesn't get through. And that quick goal right off the top by Maryland, off the boot of Fichtner. It's woken up the Cornhuskers here, playing much better as this first half eases along. Cool little touch there by J.C. Johnson, but solved by Maryland.
And that pressure by Mamie Conroy, that's what Nebraska often looks to do. It's going to be important, though, if she goes, her teammates have to go with her, because maintaining that pressure and that work rate for 90 minutes is certainly very challenging. It's tough to defend because you got to work so hard to try and get there.
Probing forward with Samantha Ehrman. It's Haley Hansen, Mamie Conroy, and J.C. Johnson. Unable to make the connection, but it's Maryland trying to counter. Fichtner sees Pratt roaming forward, but instead will go back for Lauren Berman. As Gerlitz, two Cornhuskers in pursuit, so wisely switching to the middle.
Midfield, stay high, Haley! Haley, higher! Good, Hannah. Can we go, Katie?
Barger in Maryland. Lose control of it in the midfield. A little sloppy the last 2 minutes. Back and forth, no one wants to possess it.
Not much of a rhythm yet. You know, each team is doing an okay job of making 2 or 3 passes, but then it's just a little bit of a sloppy pass into that entry of the final third. It's going to be important for teams to be able to possess it, but move the ball quickly and do it a little bit cleaner than they're doing right now.
Sade Pratt looking to slither loose. Good support there by Samantha Ehrman. Plays it away for Nebraska. Ready to attack is Katie Kreutner, and look at the pacey Sade Pratt, that's what you like to see, coming back and supporting her back line, her old position.
And that's a great work rate by Sade Pratt. We see her attacking here, taking touches, and then watch her come from the center of the park. She loses it and makes this 30, 40-yard run, committed to recovering and helping her team win that ball. I'd love to see that out of forwards. It's so inspiring as a defender to know that you have forwards up there who are not only willing to try and score goals for you, but are also committed to you defensively.
Had a chance to watch her on Big Ten Network earlier this week, Sade Pratt, and again this afternoon. She seems to be the whole package. Sure, she's still raw and making that transition to different position, but so much potential and skill.
And she does a good job of kind of hovering in that space in front of the back line of Nebraska. It's a dangerous space to find herself in, and there's a little bit of space to play in there. Right there, we see Alex Duty get into that space as well. Keep an eye out for forwards from Maryland to use that space and then have their partner run off of them, trying to get in behind the Nebraska defense.
Here's Fickner. Jabs to McCune. It's Alex Duty. She's the playmaker, number 14. And another corner kick here with under a half hour to go in the opening half. As Coach Walker looks on this gorgeous Sunday in Lincoln, Nebraska. There's Mamie Conroy. Kelly Schatz between the sticks this afternoon for Nebraska, watching this Maryland corner, and she's able to extend there and make her first claim in the young afternoon. Well, Thursday the Wolverines host Nebraska in a women's soccer matchup. Coverage starts at 3:30 Eastern. Thursday on BTN and BTN to go. J.C. Johnson, the swervy attacker, looking for a little sniff and look. Mamie Conroy there also. Carolyn Gray from distance. Carolyn Gray, and we're level in Lincoln.
Well, we talked about the importance of counter-attacking for Nebraska, and this is a perfect example of that. Counter-attack to J.C. Johnson, who does what she does best. Look, this comes from a punt off of the goalkeeper. Brilliant punt by Kelly Schatz. And then look at J.C. Johnson cutting this ball all the way across towards the center of the field, being nice and disciplined. And it's not even her. She gets her head up, she gets composed, and then look at this, a shot from distance by number 12, Caroline Gray. What a fantastic goal, just catching Beanlands a little bit off her guard.
So much for anticipating a low-scoring match.
I know, right?
Maryland looking for more. Foraging forward there was Alex Duty. Number 73, Shannon Collins, dispossessed. Nebraska wearing the white on their home fields as they've just equaled the match. A goal from Carolyn Gray. This is Flynn's cross.
No foul. Okay. Hey, Katie and Mamie, I keep working here. You gotta have one vertical. Close enough. Good, Sam. Is there a vertical player? Okay, here we go.
And this is the time for Maryland to regroup just a little bit, regain their composure. I am impressed with their continued possession here. I'd like to see them move the ball just a little bit quicker, though. Because Nebraska is playing such a low-style pressure of defense, they've got to be able to move the ball quickly. It seems as though they have time, but when they wait so long, they really can't break down the defense of Nebraska at all.
Mamie Conroy forcing the issue. Haley Hansen meandering her way. Why not give it a hit from distance? It worked moments ago. And they are able to sneak the cross through. Katie Kreutner gets ahead on it as we look at that goal from distance again.
Well, and this is a perfect example of what you deal with from a goalkeeper's perspective. It is tough when those balls come at you so quickly from distance. And look at the celebration right here from Nebraska. They're excited to get that equalizer early in the game.
That's JC Johnson that was going crazy. Their leading goal scorer was 6 goals, but showing there, very unselfish. And that goal that Maryland allowed is the type of goal that Nebraska's head coach John Walker said has been plaguing them this year. The self-inflicted wounds, the goals from distance, or allowing an early goal like they did again today, but they've responded once again and get that goal back.
And when we talked to Coach Jonathan Morgan on the other side of the ball, he talked about them having pretty good team defending, and I have to agree with him. Maryland as a whole, they're good at team defending. They haven't given up a ton of shots and a ton of goals inside their box. This is an example of they just need to get a little bit better pressure away from the penalty area. And Caroline Gray was able to get that goal from distance, but Maryland does a good job of organizing defensively, not letting them get too close to the goal.
And the red kits look great.
Oh, yeah.
Dittmar, Mamie Conroy searching for it. Jalen Oderman able to get a foot to it. Look at the calmness there of Mamie Conroy. It's recaptured by Shannon Collins in Maryland. It's the first ever meeting between Maryland and Nebraska. Saving it is Pratt. Deep throw in for Sarah Fickner. And sensing that heat safely out immediately by Nebraska. Right in front of the benches. JC Johnson. So much energy. She draws so much attention too. So you know somebody's going to be open. Pushing down the right, Dittmar. Maisie McCune in Maryland, ready to march the other way.
Good, Katie, good. Good, body, Haley, come on, body.
As Pratt gets bullied off the ball rather easily.
Good job by Sade Pratt to come back and try to win the ball, but even better job by Nebraska to be organized defensively.
Mamie Conroy down the right side, and Mamie Conroy able to sneak it in. All of a sudden, Nebraska has their first lead on the afternoon.
Mamie Conroy has been working so tough defensively, and it's nice to see her rewarded on the attacking end of the ball. Again, another counter-attacking opportunity. Great transition to attack by Nebraska, and then Mamie Conroy takes a couple of good first touches, getting herself into the box, setting herself up perfectly, and slots it past number 33, Rochelle Beanlands.
So, slow start, much better stuff from Nebraska. You see it in the celebrations, Coach John Walker talking about a Mamie Conroy and their other striker, JC Johnson. They're both so unselfish and inclusive scorers. The teammates get excited when they score goals.
Well, you could see it on that first goal. JC Johnson's celebrating Caroline Gray's goal. And what's so fun for me to watch these two women play together is that they're so different. They're very complementary players. Mamie Conroy is somebody who's strong, good in the air, powerful, and JC Johnson really complements her by being speedy, quick, feisty in the box.
Sade Pratt looking for space to launch it. Big stop. As Kelly Schatz makes the save, Maryland still keeping the heat on. As they look to respond after relinquishing that lead. And good stuff from the sophomore Kelly Schatz. We saw this goal Thursday. This time it's a big stop.
Well, a poor clearance there. And look at this composure. This is exactly what she did versus Iowa. She just can't quite get it to that far post, and Kelly Schatz is able to get down, have a quick reaction save. But you gotta like this if you're a fan of Maryland, finding Sade Pratt in the penalty box, just 12 yards away from goal. Seeing what she's done earlier in the week, you know that's a dangerous opportunity for the Terrapins.
And that may be the last piece of the puzzle as she makes that transition, changing positions. Here's Katie Kreutner.
And Coach Jonathan Morgan, he talked about that. He likes his team, how they've been building momentum. They had a tough loss against Michigan, tied Michigan State, and then was able to find the way to win over Iowa on Thursday. He said that they've played well in all of those games, but the challenge has been that they really haven't been able to finish like he hoped. This is something he's going to continue to work on with his forwards, with his attackers, with Sade Pratt, because they do all of the hard work. You just got to find a way to make that final pass or that final shot on target into the goal.
Nine, Hannah. Go, Haley, Carol.
Relentless here. Maryland looked like Pratt was going to have an opportunity. Cleared away by Nebraska, J.C. Johnson. Her touch just fails her there. Well, the Big Ten Digital Network is now BTN Plus, available on BTN to go. Subscribe to BTN Plus and gain access to hundreds of non-televised games, then enjoy them on more platforms wherever you are. Get BTN Plus now, available on BTN to go. It's the type of game when you crunch the numbers coming into it, you think potentially a scoreless draw or a 1-0 game, but all of a sudden 3 goals already.
And it's been really by some special play by some special players. It was J.C. Johnson on that first goal who created the opportunity for Nebraska, and Caroline Gray was able to put it away. Nebraska also had some brilliant work by Mamie Conroy, and then you gotta give it up to number 2, Sarah Fickner, for coming up with that great early goal. Just 2-3 defenders she was willing to take on and slot it home.
Central.
There's Conroy, number 11 for Nebraska. It's Caroline Gray losing it. Here's Kayla Shea. Her brother Edwin plays hockey at Boston College. She wears number 12 as she spreads it around this Maryland back line. Jordan Casey. Shea head up, but just a poor pass. As Coach Walker rises up from the chair, watching this throw in from Kreutner. I've liked number 8 this afternoon, the freshman Haley Hansen. Just doing a lot of little things well for Nebraska.
One of those unsung heroes in the middle of the park, helps her team maintain possession, and then also works really hard defensively in the center of the field.
Higher than Minnie, higher than Minnie.
Samantha Ehrman takes a deflection off of Pratt.
Lower Carl, lower Haley, lower Haley.
As Ehrman trying to switch fields, pass is intercepted by Duty. And again, a vision of Sade Pratt there. Why not? Always a good option. Time now for today's State Farm State of Success. It's been a successful soccer program. 13 tournament appearances, 3 Sweet 16 appearances, the last one in 2011.
great team that came from the ACC, a great conference, and certainly a team that is adding more depth and more parity to our conference in the Big Ten. Let's take a look at this. Kelly Amonte-Hiller. I remember her while I was coaching at Northwestern, current head women's lacrosse coach, but both a player for women's soccer and a lacrosse player at the University of Maryland.
True pioneer in women's lacrosse, and also back in the day in women's soccer, not too shabby as well.
And I gotta tell you, I've met a lot of competitive people in my life, and she is at the top of the list or right up there, let me tell you.
So Maryland trails Nebraska 2-1. Despite scoring first, it's been 2 unanswered goals from the Cornhuskers, Gray, and then Conroy. With Danielle Slayton, I'm Dan Kelly, our BTN crew, so great to have you with us this Sunday from Lincoln, Nebraska. It's a fun time of the year, Danielle, as you ease your way into conference play. Teams start to show tendencies, or are you going to get in that big hole early in the season or have that great start that can propel you to success?
Yeah, we're certainly in the point of conference play where you can't win it all right now. You're just 4 or 5 games in, but you're definitely starting to see tendencies, see styles and personalities, and this is the kind of time of year where you can really set yourself up for some success or get yourself into a little bit of hole that you got to find your way out of in conference play.
I'm excited. At halftime, we'll look at stats and highlights, and Nebraska trying that bid. There's that freshman we spoke about, Haley Hansen, but wise to that was Rochelle Beanlands. But you're going to tell us.
Let's take a quick look here at this save. I mean, good job by Hansen to get around it. Shot from distance. And Rochelle Beanland, that's a great power dive. Uses her feet well, gets some good air, gets under it. Easy save. Clean hands, way to hold on to that ball.
Crafted in there coolly by Hansen. We'll take a look at some of the teams off to fast starts in the top 25 in the Big Ten Conference. Shawnee Pratt again, she's in the midst of it, along with Duty. This Maryland team last year finished with a record of 10-10 and failed to qualify for the NCAA tourney for the first time since 2008.
Again, we've talked a lot about this already, but the possession and the patience by Maryland, they're doing a good job of holding the ball, but I'd love to see them move the ball a little bit quicker. It's easy to get lulled into sleep when that ball isn't really under a ton of pressure, but you're not creating opportunities and space for your midfielders and your forward in front of you when you move the ball that slowly.
So Clausen and Peterson back on the field for Nebraska.
Let's keep an eye out on number 22, Allie Peterson. She's been somebody who's played on the back line for Nebraska, but right here she's subbed into the midfield in the center part of the park. So keep an eye on her to have a big role defensively, but in the middle or the midfield area for Nebraska. Good organized defense by Nebraska, and then look at immediately, they win the ball, make one pass, and Katie Kreutner looks to get her head up and immediately try to play JC Johnson in. That is quick transition to attack and counterattacking at its best.
Push her back, Allie. Come on, Allie. Hang tight.
Corey Ryan. She's solved by Nikki Turney in Nebraska.
Ball, Jordan. Go on, Mandy, go on.
It's Mamie Conroy.
Come on, Sam.
Right over her shoulder is Erica Nelson. The big keeper, 5'9", Rochelle Beanlands, who's played every game, the redshirt junior, is there to deal with it. She had 2 saves versus Iowa, her 4th shutout this season, 12th during her career.
I thought she had a great game against Iowa. And what I'm so impressed with her back line, or with her in her back line, is her ability to organize them. She's very experienced, very calm back there, and directs the players in front of her pretty well.
Good, Carol, drive on.
Caroline Gray, one of the 2 goal scorers this afternoon for Nebraska. Mamie Conroy is the other one, and just missing that glancing header.
Well, Mamie Conroy is certainly a target for Nebraska in the box. Great service out wide. I think Nebraska's done a good job of using the width, particularly on that far side. Mamie Conroy can't quite get to the end of it, but that's where a lot of attack tends to generate for Nebraska. I like what they've done so far. They just haven't been able to get on the end of it there.
Well, good things happen for Nebraska when they score twice in a match. Pretty much unbeatable since 2013.
Look at that. I think you got to give credit to them for being so organized defensively, knowing that you can score a couple of goals and then hold on, stay organized, and really shut down other teams who are trying to press to get that equalizer. It certainly says something about how they can organize themselves defensively when they're up a goal.
Will be a corner here. We're in the midst of the always crucial final 10 minutes of the half. From both coaches, you always hear it from soccer coaches too about the importance of set pieces. It's all about concentration too, especially moments like this in the match. Easy to lose it with just 8-9 minutes to go. Dropped in there. And Maryland could never get a good look at it.
When we talk about the importance of set pieces so often, and why do we do that? One, because if you're an underdog or if you're not particularly playing well, a set piece can give you a chance to get back into the game just like that in just a moment. We also talk about the importance of set pieces because such a large percentage of goals actually come off of set pieces. FIFA, which is the organizing body for soccer in the world, has done reports and done studies on it, saying 30% of goals come off of set pieces.
Maryland trying to be dangerous here. The dying minutes of the half. Shea switching fields. Shannon Collins. The long service. Tracking back for it. Here's Kayla Shea again. It was such a surprising start. Fichtner with the gorgeous goal to start the scoring and start this match, giving Maryland a 1-0 lead, but the offense has been pretty quiet since. We saw a good look by Sade Pratt, but played it right to the keeper. Kelly Schatz was able to make the simple stop. Right place, right time. Aubrey Baker goes back to the cul-de-sac for a little momentum. Corey Ryan deals with the pressure, shields nicely. Gerlitz forcing that pass in and intercepted by Allie Peterson. Mamie Conroy. J.C. Johnson making a run down the near side and sensing that. Rochelle Beanlands. She has to get back in time as Mamie Conroy keeping her honest.
Look at how much time and space Maryland has to play. Nebraska is dropping off into their own half entirely, saying to Maryland, hey, you can have the ball as much as you'd like in your half, but as soon as it enters into our half, that's when we're going to put you under a ton of pressure, and you are not going to be able to penetrate through our 11 who are playing tight and close together, and there's not a lot of space to play in once you get into Nebraska's defensive half.
You can see it. They get it across the halfway line, and then the kamikaze attackers come out for Nebraska. And Maryland has trouble dealing with that pressure. So Qua onto the field now for Maryland.
I just wish I wasn't. There's this history class I'm taking. It takes 8 hours. Well, I mean, we're supposed to read it, and we have to read it pretty much. And then you take exams, and then, well, the reading takes about 2.5 hours.
About at this point, it's when the dive bombers start attacking Maryland with pressure and a little more force.
Well, it's a very clear line of confrontation.
And it's like, this is supposed to be it.
As soon as Maryland crosses that half line, you're going to get pressure from J.C. Johnson, Mamie Conroy, and then all of the midfielders in behind are looking to win any penetrating ball that's going into the midfielders, into the forwards, and they're just sitting there waiting to pick those passes off. And if I'm Coach Jonathan Morgan at halftime, I'm going to talk to my team a little bit more about how to start to break down the low pressure defense of Nebraska. For me, the biggest thing is they've got to move the ball quicker. On defense, I think they're doing a decent job, but they've got to be better in transition to defense. Both Nebraska's goals have come off a quick transition to attack and a counter.
Maryland, left-footed strike, bouncing around, second ball. Nebraska, finally too much pressure. It looks like the last lick there was Corey Ryan, and she's leveled it.
Well, this is just fight and determination inside of the penalty box by the Maryland Terrapins. Corey Ryan gets it started off by winning the ball in midfield, finds a great change of attack or change of point of attack, and Kelly Schatz gets a little bit caught off of her line. She's got defenders around trying to save her, trying to clear that ball off of the line, but they can't quite recover. And Corey Ryan, who started it off, is able to finish it off by putting it in the back of the net.
Yeah, life sometimes is not fair, but it was fair there to Corey Ryan because she did all the work and then she got the glory as well.
Why'd she do that?
Probably have a 5-goal second half the way this first half has gone.
That'd be fun.
Jordan Casey plays it into the middle. Caroline Gray using that wide speed, but couldn't craft it in there. First of the season for Corey Ryan.
Is she over there? Yeah, she's the one's red shirt. Yeah.
The first one was more about beauty. Fickner scoring that first Maryland goal, but grit and determination and persistence for Corey Ryan and Maryland has allowed them to tie this match here late in the opening half. See the good body position of Jordan Casey, number 20, to prevent any Maryland players from getting onto that ball. Katie Kreutner. Hoping to get a last look here. It's Clausen. Denied by the Terps. Gerlitz head up. And there's that attacker. The speed was ready to attack a Samantha Ehrman, but has to back up as Maryland maintaining control. It's Quo operating along the near touch. And this is a diversified, balanced attack for Maryland. 10 different goals scored this season, just 12 total goals.
And it's tough to prepare if you're trying to play against Maryland because there's no one person in particular you feel like you need to mark or pay close attention to in order to try to mark her out of the game. I mean, they have so many weapons that are coming from different places. I know Coach Morgan wants that to happen more often, so great that they have 10 different players scoring now. Get them to score a few more goals, but it certainly seems like it's coming today.
Mamie Conroy looking for a late goal here in the half. But numbers quickly. Swarb, number 11. It's Duty and Pratt, the only Maryland players this year to score more than once, each with a pair of goals.
Well, I know when we started this game, we thought, oh, this might be a pretty tight match defensively, or I thought that anyway. And I think a little bit of the reason that it's been a little bit more wide open, there's been a little bit more space on the field, is that it's a Sunday match, and sometimes you're feeling your legs a little bit. Players aren't stepping up as quickly, dropping off as quickly, so there's a little bit more space to play, particularly for Maryland in front of the Nebraska defenders and in the middle of the field.
How about the unknown factor? Because these two teams have never played each other.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's part of the challenge of coming into a new conference is you have unfamiliar opponents and you have different travel, different types of players and personalities you're playing against. So that's certainly something Maryland's going to have to continue to develop and evolve as they start into this conference.
Final few seconds of this opening half. Caroline Gray. Kreutner had to hold up that run. Maryland. Ryan run into there by Hilton. She dislodges it for Mamie Conroy. The countdown, just desperation, final hit there from Conroy. So much for a scoreless first half. We explode out of the gates here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Exchanging leads back and forth, all level at 2 after the first 45 minutes. And John Walker, the head coach for Nebraska, is kind enough to put the headset on and join us live. John, were you surprised about all the offense there in the first half?
Probably too much for both teams, both coaches. Obviously, you know, we've given up some early goals. They've done it again. Came back, played better for a while, and then tailed off a little bit towards the end of the half. So we're right back to square one.
Well, you gotta like the response after giving up that early goal from your team, right?
Yeah, and that's been the way it's been, Danielle. You know, I think they have good character. They'll fight all the time, but obviously you don't want to keep putting yourself in the same situations.
Coach Walker, thanks so much for the time.
Okay, thank you guys.
John Walker, time to have a little talking to both he and Maryland's head coach, Jonathan Morgan. They like the numbers going forward, but would like to secure things defensively a little better than we saw in that first half of play. All tied at 2. You couldn't draw up a better fall Sunday for the beautiful game in Nebraska. And a pretty good start, too. Two teams that have been searching for their offenses, but they found them there in the first 45 minutes. All level at 2, and Nebraska looking for their first conference win this season. You could hear Coach John Walker with our chat there at the end of the half. He was happy with the goals, but coaches never like to see allowing 2 goals there, especially in your home field when you're searching for that first conference win.
Well, it's tough when you don't get off to the start that you want, but fortunately for Nebraska, they were able to respond.
On the other side, Jonathan Morgan, the third-year coach for Maryland, kind enough to join us and put on the headset. And Jonathan, were you satisfied with your side's first 45 minutes of play here on the road?
Well, from an attacking standpoint, yeah, I thought we were dangerous. I thought we put some pressure on Nebraska. Did a good job finding our forwards and running off of them. Defensively, that's not us. We got pushed around. We weren't organized. We gave them lots of space to play. We exposed ourselves to a counterattack, and so in that realm, it's pretty disappointing that we didn't organize ourselves better defensively. We didn't come out with a little better energy to deal with their physicality. But I think we've addressed it at halftime, and hopefully we'll see a new group this half. I like our persistence though with our attack. I think if we keep it up and we have the same mentality, we could potentially get a couple more goals here.
Coach, welcome to the conference. Look forward to talking to you the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
Jonathan Morgan, the boss for Maryland, and a lot going on here in Lincoln, Nebraska around the soccer program. They're going to have some new fancy digs next year.
Well, Nebraska has a women's soccer history and a program that is completely deserving of a world-class facility like this. Can't wait to see it next year. I know they've already broken ground, so things are in the works, and Coach John Walker has got to be pleased with this new facility that's going to be built for his quality program here in Nebraska.
Beautiful stadium to showcase his program. So we're in the shadows of Memorial Stadium this Sunday. Is it a little warm out there for the players, or is this near perfect for them? Would they like to have it a little cooler?
I like it personally. I think it's maybe a little warm for this time of the year. It's not entirely expected, but this is something you deal with in preseason, especially if you're in Maryland in that southern heat. This is not a problem, I think.
Says the California girl, I forgot. Do you think we'll see these teams settle down here in the second half, Danielle?
You know, I think that they've been on a roll. I think both teams are going to try to have conversations and shore up things defensively. So I anticipate them to be a little bit more structured, a little bit more organized in defense. So I think it's going to be harder to break these teams down and score goals in the second half.
It's Flynn, dispossessed by Fickner. Coming into this game, Maryland had provided most of their offense in the first. And they find 2 more here in the first half. We'll see if they can continue the trend in the second. So that is where the well has run dry. It's Riley Barger out of the midfield, but well anticipated by Jalen Oderman. Oderman with speed, trying that from far away. Still driving forward, but getting a block there was Erica Nelson.
Jalen Oderman, she's a central defender, so she was able to intercept that ball. She had a little bit of space to run. I love that confidence. I love that willingness to go forward, particularly from that central defending position.
She's a presence, 5'8", and showing that speed there through the midfield. Shannon Collins. Dangerous pass. Almost picked off by Caroline Gray. Sade Pratt looks for her first few touches of this half. It's Maryland. Pratt takes a deflection on the way into the penalty area. Immediately brushed out by Nebraska.
What fantastic work rate by Sade Pratt. She came into the midfield, and then immediately as they won it, she was transitioning, trying to run at that back line. Times her run very well, gets in behind and looks to cross the ball. I think Maryland's arguing for a handball right there. Don't get that call from the referee.
Pratt didn't see that company coming from behind. John Walker, Nebraska head coach, saying, let's find Mamie, talking about Mamie Conroy.
And she's such a good target forward because she's so strong on the ball. You can kind of put the ball really wherever she is, particularly in the air, and she can go up and get it. We see it right there. She wins not only that first ball, but the second ball as well.
This is Gerlitz. Rolls on for Barger.
Take a look at the defensive line of pressure here. We see Nebraska getting a little bit closer and away from their goal. Very different than what we saw in the first half.
See, in the first half, they wouldn't become engaged until usually around midfield.
Their whole line of attack is higher up the field, and for me, that's good to win it higher up the field because you're just that much closer to the goal. You have less distance to go to try and score a goal.
Nebraska's been unsuccessful this afternoon trying to find J.C. Johnson with those balls. She's such a dangerous threat, but she's had a lot of Terrapins around her. Erica Nelson following her around right now. Speaking of Maryland, what are the keys to the match for them to be successful this afternoon?
Well, we talked about this early. We talked about possession and having quality possession. I think they've done a good job, but I think their speed of play can increase so they can get better chances on the ball.
Sade Pratt trying to get a good chance off the ball. It's Maryland. Was arguing for a handball. The two number 4s clashing along the corner. Samantha Ehrman for Nebraska able to dislodge it.
Here we see the busy Sade Pratt. Good little technical touches in there. Great team defending by Nebraska. Love how they have that swarming defense. Whenever Sade Pratt is on the ball, you can tell players in white jerseys just flock to her, knowing that she can be so dangerous in front of the goal inside the penalty box.
Wonderful look by our crew, and it also showed that handball that went undetected off of Samantha Ehrman.
Carol, on the move, Carol. Read the pass.
Not undetected by the Maryland benches. They were up and hollering.
Here we go. Outside.
So a cleaner beginning. Sade Pratt. Barger ponders things from the corner. She and Shannon Collins congregate and get ready for this corner. Numbers running to that penalty area. First touch by Mamie Conroy. You can feel the scoreline here to begin the second half after seeing so much offense in the first half. Both teams being careful. Kelly Schatz is able to gather in keys to the game for Nebraska.
Well, Nebraska has just been hammering this first one. They've done a great job scoring 2 goals on the counterattack, and they've got to continue to dominate set plays. Defensively, they haven't given up too many opportunities. I think they've been doing a solid job of this in the first 45. We'll keep an eye on it. The later you get into a match, the more critical set plays become.
Good, Haley. Okay, drive on. To you. Well done, Haley. Well done.
You used the term quality possession earlier on. What do you mean by a quality possession?
I mean clean, first of all, in order to keep the ball.
J.C. Johnson lets it go. Nebraska trying to threaten from the perimeter. Caroline Flynn. Flynn by one. Flynn just off target.
So when I talk about quality, I talk about cleanly making sure that your passes are crisp and clean and sharp to where you want them to be. But I also mean a little bit of possessing the ball and making smart choices. So possessing just to possess doesn't do me any good. You want to possess and go forward at the same time, pulling apart the defenders of Nebraska, and then combination play, creating chances in front of goal, and then ultimately putting your chances in the back of the net. It's so simple, right?
It is. Well, we saw at times Maryland had the possession in the first half, but it wasn't that smart possession. When 3-4 defenders are just knocking it around in their own half of the field, not a lot gets accomplished.
It's so simple in theory. It's very difficult to execute, particularly to execute it over a span of 90 minutes.
Oderman finds it in the midfield, but Sarah Fickner for Maryland on the counter. As Riley Barger sprays it down the right side. Barger gets it right back. Corey Ryan, she's an option. Instead they force it a bit into Sade Pratt, missing her with the pass. Well, a reminder, the BTN Women's Sports Report. It's the most comprehensive weekly show covering all the happenings in the Big Ten with interviews, in-depth analysis, and so much more. The BTN Women's Sports Report, Friday, 3 Eastern on BTN and BTN to go. Perfect way to spend a Friday afternoon. Little Women's Sports Report, little BTN field hockey, get you set up for the weekend.
Nothing comes off at the back.
I love it. I get to talk about soccer, and then I learn about all the cool players and different sports going on in the conference. Every week it's educational for me.
It's a celebration of women's sports in Big Ten country. Here we're in the second half in Lincoln, Nebraska. Seesaw first 45 minutes. Here, it's been a quiet beginning of the second. Hoisted in by Collins. Skied off the boot of Katie Kreutner. Calmly dealt with by Erica Nelson. She'll just watch it out. And doing some coaching. John Walker. Only coach in the history of this program, started in '94. 10 conference championships. He's got the makings of another good team this year. They've just had a slow start in conference play.
18 All-Americans come through and worn this Nebraska Cornhusker uniform. And I have tremendous respect for the program he's built over 21 years here. Think about so many Canadian women's national team players who have come out of here. Thinking about Karina LeBlanc, who I had the chance to see recently playing for the Chicago Red Stars in the NWSL. Longest tenured player on the Canadian women's national team, 4 World Cups, 2 Olympics. Karina LeBlanc was a great goalkeeper here in Nebraska. Continues to be a great goalkeeper representing her country as well.
Corner kick, Nebraska. They play it short. Samantha Ehrman returning to Kreutner. Curls it in. Dangerous ball. But numbers around it for Maryland. It's a beautiful warm afternoon here in Nebraska. Gray over for Ehrman. She's bumped off the ball by Sade Pratt.
Drop, Sam!
The clashes and the physical part of the game, it doesn't seem to bother Sade Pratt at all. I guess that's the defender in her.
And I hear Coach Morgan talking about tempo, tempo. They need to move this ball quickly in transition when they do win the ball.
So more to deal with for Nebraska. Another corner kick. This time it's Maryland. Barger puts it in, but the awaiting hands there of Kelly Schatz was ready.
And that first goal that Nebraska scored came off of a transition from Kelly Schatz to JC Johnson. Keep an eye out and watch her as she wins balls, particularly on corner kicks, set pieces, for her to quickly get her head up, look forward, and for Nebraska to try to catch Maryland in transition.
JC Johnson, 17 goals last year to lead Nebraska, 6 this year, their leader. It's been kind of a quiet Sunday afternoon so far, but for players like her, they usually factor in these crucial moments, especially later in the game.
Well, and the thing about JC Johnson is she hasn't scored since September 7th, so her production has slowed a little bit, but you gotta give her all the credit for that first goal that Caroline Gray scored. It was a great finish by Gray, but JC Johnson gets the assist and does so much work to create that opportunity. Even though she's not quite been finishing in recent weeks, she's still getting incredible chances and creating opportunities for her other teammates.
How about her play first round of the tournament last year, scoring 4 goals in a game, the first freshman and 5th player in NCAA tournament history to accomplish that feat. Well done by number 19 in white, JC Johnson. It's Maryland searching for that go-ahead goal.
And Maryland continues to send their outside backs forward. We see 73 Collins coming up here to take that throw in. Look for her to run up and down this left flank, trying to get in attack, creating chances in the width for Maryland.
Ambitious try. Never really had a chance as it sails wide. Riley Barger with the attempt, and there's the star player for Nebraska that we spoke about, JC Johnson. We saw her make a few of those swervy runs in the first half. Expect more of those. Look at the calm composure. And the save coming from Schatz as Sade Pratt was able to sneak one through.
So much confidence on the ball. Sade Pratt's willing to take 2-3 touches. Great job to keep this ball low. The reason you keep it low is because it's so difficult for the goalkeeper to get all the way down to the ground and save that ball. When it's about hip height, shoulder height, much easier for the goalkeeper to make that save. Good job by Pratt to keep it low.
She's got that deadly first step too, that she can just lose defenders with 1 or 2 moves or steps.
Just that power, that agility, that first 5 yards that she's really able to separate herself from the defender.
Good communication. Shannon Collins telling Erica Nelson that she wanted that ball as they were bunched up a little. Tossed in by Flynn. The freshman, Haley Hansen, now ready for takeoff. Caroline Flynn darting down the right side, dragging defenders with her. With the 1v2 situation, just too much, and Maryland will come away with it. Subs coming on for Nebraska. Casey and Peterson back on. Mamie Conroy and Caroline Flynn will come off. There's the fresh legs of Allie Peterson, converged on by two Terps, able to slither away. It's settled down in the back by Erica Nelson.
Stay connected. In front of you, Nikki. In front of you, Nikki.
Barger sensing the pressure. Softened in the middle by Sade Pratt. There to pounce on it was Jordan Casey, but possession returns to Maryland. Meandering her way over the midfield, Shannon Collins. Little support from Barger.
Great change of point by Maryland right here.
It's a good solution to deal with that pressure coming from Nebraska.
And that's what you have to do. You've got to change the point, and you've got to do it quickly. Without doing it with speed, you're never going to be able to spring somebody into that final third, as they were just trying to do right there with Alex Duty.
Well, Big Ten soccer fans, make sure to check out the BTN Soccer Report, our weekly web show hosted by Kevin Egan on BTN.com. Previews, interviews, and breakdowns of the conference's beautiful game. You can also follow on Twitter at BTN Soccer Report. I know his guest this past week is on Twitter. Class act that is the head coach at Penn State, Mr. Bob Warming. It's Maryland. Corey Ryan was trying to get that lash through. She doesn't, but helps her in a corner.
Watch all of these runners at the top of the box for Maryland. They stay grouped together like that and split at the last second, trying to make screens for each other, create opportunities, and get by their defender.
First touch there for Nebraska, so never really a danger there created off the corner.
And the service just needs to be a little bit more quality right there. You have to get it at least over that first defender, get it in front of the face of the goal to give yourself a chance.
You talk about 30% of the goals in soccer coming off of set pieces. Here's Maryland's Sarah Fickner. Again, the ambitious try. That took a deflection, so it will be a corner. How much time do coaches, you used to coach in the Big Ten, how much time do they spend in training on set pieces?
I feel like you don't feel like there's ever enough time to get to it, but it is so critical, and you have to be disciplined, particularly as you get into conference play or if you make your way into the NCAA tournament, because set pieces play an even bigger role in tight matches.
And there maybe too much venom on that service from the corner, or was that much better?
I liked that you at least got it to the far post, gave yourself a chance, and credit really goes to Jalen Orderman, number 13 for Nebraska, for being able to get to that ball first, use every inch of her height, and win it first.
And they continue to use their benches and their depth here in the later minutes of the second half.
And you're going to see that Sunday games, coaches are known to make quite a few subs because both of these teams are coming off of tight matches on Thursday. Maryland playing against Iowa and Nebraska playing against Rutgers. You got to get these fresh legs in, give your starters a little bit of a rest, and try to get the most out of your entire team, because let me tell you, Sunday matches, your legs are tired, you're feeling it, so it's nice to be able to have some depth and use players off the bench.
They can almost see that finish line for the weekend. Still got to gut it out for 23 more minutes, maybe even more. Is Molina finding that cross for Maryland.
Jump in the back, narrow, Sam. Well done, Haley. Stronger. Awesome. Come on, Haley. Gotta be stronger. Stay low, Haley.
Samantha Ehrman switching fields. On to Jordan Casey. Casey, nice cross, and there she is, J.C. Johnson, Nebraska leads.
This goal literally gives me chills. Jordan Casey coming off of the bench, serving this great ball into the near post, and this is exactly why you make a run to the near post. J.C. Johnson timed her header perfectly, beats Rochelle Beanlands to the near post, and I love this celebration. It gives me chills.
You want to go back to college, don't you?
Oh my gosh, I want to be her teammate. It's so fun. Look at that. So inclusive, looking for her teammates, knowing that she's part of something bigger, bringing everyone in and getting the job done on the field. I love it.
When your best player and your best goal scorer has a reaction like that, it tends to be contagious. Seventh goal of the season for JC. This is Jordan Casey. Allie Peterson tries to lose Barger. Heavy first touch there by Clausen allows Maryland to find it again. Caroline Gray back in the match, taking over for the freshman, Haley Hansen. J.C. Johnson has done the damage with her 7th of the season. See the composure for Gray. Peterson, the freshman, didn't see the company coming. Corey Ryan busting the other way for Maryland. As Ryan keeps that pass down on the deck, and the keeper, Kelly Schatz, is able to nullify.
And the final pass right there for Maryland is just a little bit off, but Natasha Natonkwo, she does a good job of bending that run away, trying to stay on sides. It's a good job by a forward to making sure you don't get offside.
Quo, number 18, has been doing some good things for Maryland here in the second half. Something you touched on Thursday's telecast also, Danielle, is you don't want to have predictable runs. As a former defender, you would love to see predictable runs. What can a striker do to throw you off your game and trick you?
You have to constantly be moving away from the ball and then checking to the ball.
J.C. Johnson there is thwarted by Erica Nelson.
Good disciplined defending. So, as I mentioned before, so when you're defending a forward, it's most difficult to defend her when she's kind of playing this cat and mouse game with you. She's never standing. Her runs aren't just straight ahead. You never know when she's asking for the ball or when she's going to want the ball. Even when the ball isn't in the vicinity, she's constantly moving. So you're constantly having to look over your shoulder to find her and also look to find the ball and make sure that the two don't meet together, particularly behind you when attacking your goalkeeper.
Because they can go from the quiet areas to the noisy areas in a hurry. Game summary, get ready. A lot of goals. Maryland starting it off with Fickner's first.
Well, Fickner takes on 3 defenders, shoots it to the far post, and gets Maryland on the ball early. But Caroline Gray scores a great shot from distance in transition. Second goal, counter-attacking opportunity for Mamie Conroy. Nebraska does a good job of going up 2-1 here. But the persistence of number 4, Corey Ryan, and Maryland was strong as they ended the first half. In the second, though, my favorite goal of the game so far, JC Johnson with a fantastic celebration, excellent header to the near post, and that's where we stand right now, 3-2.
Nebraska trying to create danger again, just eluding Mamie Conroy in the penalty area, but Haley Hansen helps keep this possession alive, still driving forward. As Gray gives it a hit from far out, and the one hopper in the hands of Beanlands. So just over 17 minutes remaining in regulation. Referees amending their decision. It's going to be Maryland who brings it in off of this throw. They get the shot off. It sneaks through. Second of the game. Sade Pratt, back and forth we go. We're level again.
Well, this has literally been back and forth and back and forth. And Sade Pratt, she hasn't quite been able to get on the end of it up until now. She puts herself in such a dangerous position, just a few yards away from goal. Her first touch here is really what sets her up, taking this touch across her body, opening up a good angle, and she just slams it right to the center of the goal. It looks a little bit like Kelly Schatz is trying to predict her shooting to the far post, and she catches her. Using her momentum against her, Sade Pratt just gets it on target. And you know what? Part of the time, that's just it. Get it on target, create something happen. Huge play by Maryland to get this equalizer.
Samantha Ehrman dropping into the penalty area. Numbers around it for the Terrapins. Sade Pratt, 2 already this afternoon. And you can see she draws some attention as Pratt, the little chip. And why not? Everything else has worked this afternoon. And we talked about that throw-in that the Maryland bench changed. Initially, it was going to be a Nebraska throw-in.
And I think they ultimately got the call right. There was communication going on between the assistant referee on the sideline, the center referee. Good communication between those two to get the call right. And then credit to Maryland for taking advantage and finding a way to score a goal off that throw-in.
No, and you're right, it was all about the communication amongst the officiating staff, the assistant referee.
Hey, get your shape now. Come on, drive on.
It's Hannah Dittmar. Some hard clashes in the midfield. Finally emerging from the scrum, it's Molina. Fichtner and Corey Ryan down the far side for Maryland. Always lurking, it's JC Johnson, the last goal scorer for Nebraska.
Read the pass up.
We see again Nebraska's dropped into their lower pressure defense, where their line of confrontation is really right around the midfield. They've done a good job of kind of mixing it up. You never know. There's been times when they've went into that high pressure and pressured high up the field, and then often just sit back, wait for Maryland to try to play in and through their 11 defenders and win the ball that tries to penetrate into the midfield.
It's Jordan Casey doing the work down on the grass for Nebraska. Dittmar's been good here in the second, number 24 for the Cornhuskers. See the body position of J.C. Johnson. She stays on the grass, slow to get up.
Little higher, Cal, little higher, Cal.
Just a fatiguing second half.
Okay, relax, here we go. Every possession now.
Should have bet a baseball player, but she likes to slide.
Start to hear and feel the urgency from the coaches and the benches. The final 13 minutes.
When it feels like with the way that this game has gone and the rhythm, it's been so back and forth that really whoever's going to be able to create that last opportunity and put it away is really the one who's going to come out on top of this game.
And watching Allie Peterson in the midfield, she seemed to have the right recipe for Sade Pratt. Just don't let her get the ball. Samantha Ehrman, good defending for Nebraska. It's Caroline Flynn re-enters the match for Jordan Casey.
Get out! Haley deeper, Haley deeper!
Gray, she lost it, but she gets it back in an important part of the field and begins the transition. There's J.C. Johnson.
She's got no help.
Come on, Haley, get in then, get in!
Johnson. Mamie Conroy back to Johnson, left foot.
Side net, side
Just
net.
off the side netting, but that's the two that you want to be combining. Mamie Conroy and J.C. Johnson.
Well, your two starting forwards here, they have a chemistry and a familiarity with each other, looking to play off each other. J.C. Johnson's going to want that one back, shooting to the far post, but good work by the two forwards up top.
Caroline Gray readies for the corner. Pawed aside by Beanlands, but Nebraska stays behind the ball. Dittmar on for Kreutner. Headed out by Erica Nelson, but still possessed by Nebraska. It's the first Big Ten road trip for Maryland. You think they're starting to maybe look a little tired. Here's Mamie Conroy, but too many numbers around her as Conroy was off balance.
I think at this point in the match, it's normal for your legs to start to slow a little bit on a Sunday, but I can say that in the second half, they do seem to have good fight to them. Defensively, they've been a little bit tighter, done a good job of really having a better presence defensively in this second 45.
Barger's been providing a lot of energy, number 10 for Maryland. Well-paced pass for Fichtner. She scored the first goal of this match. But it was Flynn and Dittmar, the defending for Nebraska. The score stays level at the end of regulation. Two potential 10-minute overtimes with a golden goal as J.C. Johnson maneuvers it to the penalty area. Maryland is there. Flynn leaves for Kreutner. Dropped into the penalty area. Awaiting was Beanlands. There's Mamie Conroy. Well done by the senior Corey Ryan.
Keep it in front of you, Haley, drop. Hard head up.
Sade Pratt slowing her up in the midfield was Dittmar.
Haley, slow it down.
Barger again, a little forward stroll. Stopped by Hansen.
Maybe. here, Papa. Spin out, come in behind.
Foul on Maryland here with just over 8 minutes to go.
Slow it down, just slow it down.
Let's take a look here.
P2, Papa.
Hansen does a good job of keeping the ball, transitioning quickly to attack, but clearly taken down from behind there.
Looks like Nikki Turney is getting ready to come in off the bench here eventually for the final minutes for Nebraska. This is Caroline Gray. Loses it. It's Maryland on the counter. 2 goals this afternoon from Sade Pratt. Does she have another one left in her? Collins safely for Molina.
Dropping behind.
That line of confrontations, my partner Danielle Slayton has dropped off a little bit from Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska, Nebraska soccer field. I'm Dan Kelly next to Danielle Slayton. It's been a great match. We expected a low-scoring one, but combining for 6 goals and maybe another one on the way. Slowing things down a little bit. The sophomore from Naperville, Illinois, Kelly Schatz. Her 11th start. She's played all the matches this year. J.C. Johnson just getting enough of her was Erica Nelson. Baker's pass was gobbled up well, read by Jalen Oderman. .5'8" junior Oderman in the midfield for Nebraska. Erica Nelson has been hassled all afternoon by Mamie Conroy, and J.C. Johnson lurking up top for Nebraska. And it's Nikki Turney now coming on for Haley Hansen. So freshman for freshman.
Nikki Turney will come in and play a central defender, and she'll push Allie Peterson up into the center of midfield. So Allie Peterson really provides a lot of versatility for Coach Walker, being able to play in the center of the midfield and also the center of the defense.
Such effort and work rate coming from J.C. Johnson, but just whistled for the foul. Here's Shannon Collins. Low service easily dealt with by Nebraska. Mamie Conroy is able to advance it, but right back comes Maryland. Riley Barger coming down with that aerial challenge. It's Allie Peterson. Everyone trying to keep things safe here with just over 4 minutes to go.
There's space to be had in the center of midfield as both teams start to get a little tired. The game's getting stretched.
Sade Pratt, she can win it by herself in a second. Pratt looking for that hat trick. Just couldn't find the lane to get the shot through. Barger plays it back to the back line. Shannon Collins is forced. And it's Flynn doing the good work for the Huskers.
Back ball, Kayla. Okay, that's fine. Let's pin them in now, Brooke. Come on. Every push possession now. Every possession. Every play is picked up now. Allie. When we have it in the back, you see your low and connected, okay? Nothing over her head.
Should say Sade Pratt has 1 goal. She could have had about 2 or 3 today.
Yeah, and she keeps finding herself in that dangerous position in front of the back line for Nebraska. And because she's so confident and composed on the ball, willing to take 3, 4, 5 touches, and because she's so savvy on the ball, she's been able to really create some opportunities. Hasn't quite finished it probably as much as Coach Morgan would like her to, but she's putting herself in a good spot.
I meant to say 2 on the road trip because she scored Thursday too.
Exactly, you got it.
Close. Like this game.
She really is incredible. Great pace, great athleticism up there. I think the next level for her is just becoming more technically sound in front of the goal, particularly with her finishing.
Double. Well done, Allie. Stay in. Every possession. Nothing behind you. Come on, girl.
Dittmar finds Flynn. And now it's Allie Peterson preventing Sade Pratt from getting a touch on it. Conroy was sprouting up.
Mamie Conroy has just done a great job of continually winning the air balls for Nebraska. Every time they need to relieve pressure and clear it, she seems to be right there.
Barger. The cross. Fichtner. Looking for her options. 1v2. It's Flynn and Dittmar, the defensive work for Nebraska.
Here we see Fichtner doing a good job, and Hannah Dittmar doing a great job of staying with her, makes a slide tackle right here at the last moment. Caroline Flynn can be a little bit closer, help her out so they can defend with 2.
Look to be handled there in the penalty area, perhaps.
Nikki,
70 seconds left. Gerlitz launching it forward. Barger, loose ball, the chip off the bar. Fichtner had the chance to win it for Maryland in the final minute.
Well, I thought that was going to be it. She squares her hips up perfectly, aiming this for the far post, just like she did in the first half to get us started with the goal scoring. But this time it just bounces off the crossbar. Kelly Schatz's best friend right now.
Carolyn Flynn also helping the cause, rushing that shot perhaps, as here's Mamie Conroy, 30 seconds remaining. If no one scores, overtime is next from Nebraska.
Keep her head down.
Dittmar safely on the outside for Nebraska.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's going to be extra time in this match. 3-3 after 90 minutes. We saw a wild first half. Things settled down a little bit in the second. Do you give the advantage to one team or another in this match?
Right now I give the momentum to Maryland. They get the equalizer, the third goal by Sade Pratt, and then they really had a little bit of momentum they were building upon in the waning moments of this game. Right now I give them a little bit of the nod going into overtime.
So overtime is next on the Big Ten Network here from Lincoln, Nebraska. Jonathan Morgan, first Big Ten road trip for his Terrapins. They got the victory Thursday in Iowa. They try for it again on this Sunday in Lincoln as John Walker's Nebraska Cornhuskers. They want their first conference win any way they can get it. Little extra time soccer here in Lincoln, Nebraska, Maryland, and Nebraska end in regulation 3 apiece. This is how we do it in college soccer. First overtime, 10-minute sudden victory. The second overtime, also another 10-minute sudden victory. Tied after 2 overtimes. It will end in a draw, but the way things have gone today, I have a feeling we might have a golden goal, because we look at our game summary. That was the theme. Lots of goals beginning with Fickner.
Well, Fickner for Maryland gets on the ball just in the first few minutes of the game, but Nebraska did a great job of responding. We see a fantastic goal by Caroline Gray from distance, and then Mamie Conroy does what she does so well. So calm and composed. Clinical finish to the far post. But Maryland was able to respond. Corey Ryan just battling, urging, begging her way to get this ball across the goal line. Now in the second half, JC Johnson makes this fantastic, well-timed run to the near post to put Nebraska up, and then Sade Pratt answered on the other end for Maryland, getting the ball past Kelly Schatz. And then literally in the last moment of the game, I thought that Fickner might have her second for the day, but it goes off of the crossbar.
Top of the bar for Fickner. She would have had the game winner. The stats were pretty even at half. A little more shots coming from Maryland's boots there in the second.
And Maryland, particularly as the waning moments of the game winded down, I think that they had the momentum, and they are ones for me who are having the momentum and run of play going into overtime.
Okay, both teams. It's been a long week. Second match, the legs feeling a little heavy. Does that lend to more offense, or are we going to see a defensive stalemate here because of fatigue?
I think it's tough. I think these are the moments when you find the players who are willing to put their teammates on their back and say, I'm going to make this difference despite tired legs, despite fatigue. I think the game's going to be a little bit more wide open just because it's more difficult to get pressure on the ball. I'm thinking we're going to get a goal. I really am.
That has been the trend this afternoon. Flynn and Dittmar have done so well on that back line for Nebraska, under heavy fire at times here in the second half. The freshman in the midfield, Haley Hansen, readies, and away we go. Extra time in soccer. If you're just joining us, Nebraska in the white shirts.
Sliding, nothing comes off.
Is this first ever meeting between these two schools, with Maryland and Rutgers joining the Big Ten Conference this season? It's going to be a lot of seasons of first for Maryland, as here is Shannon Collins making a run. Finds the option in Corey Ryan. Good possession here by Maryland to begin play. Duty just outstretched, couldn't hold it, but Barger recaptures in the midfield, finds Sade Pratt. Getting a foot on it, but that's all was Alex Duty.
Well, the thing about these overtime games in college soccer is that they are golden goal, which means you score, you win, you go home. So you've really got to be willing to go after it, try to get that goal, because this game could be over in just a couple of minutes if you're willing and able to put one in the back of the net.
Don't move! Don't move! One standing.
Pratt, she needs support. Finds it in Baker. It's Jordan Casey anticipating well from that Nebraska back line.
Dig in here, guys. Dig in.
Flynn trying to spot the freshman Haley Hansen, but instead gobbled up by Maryland. Pratt, she's got a little room. Pratt had a chance to get that shot off, but well off frame.
Caroline, Carol.
Jalen Oderman and Allie Peterson have to be very, very disciplined when Sade Pratt gets the ball at her feet and is able to turn and face up towards the goal. They've got to get good pressure on her so she can't do whatever she wants with the ball, and then they've got to get good cover so they're defending 2 people against 1.
Jesse, go! And up, support.
Mamie Conroy saying, JC, go, right from that throw-in.
Well, and the thing is on a throw-in, you cannot be offside. So if Mamie can get that ball in over the back line, JC can take off early because she will not be offside while Mamie throws her the ball.
See the overtime records. Each team looking for their first overtime decision this year and get that big win. Deflects off of Kreutner, so we'll stay with Maryland. Trying to fight through the tired legs.
Look for Mamie Conroy defensively to have a big role in winning these goal kicks for Nebraska.
Come on, Haley, come on. Come on, Mamie. Push out, push out. What are you doing here, girl? Then drop in.
Shannon Collins. Ryan is hurried and just couldn't hold that line. Oh, she does. Stays with Maryland here with just over 6 minutes to go in the first 10-minute overtime. Potentially we could have two. Trying to make the turn was Gray, but read by Baker and Maryland. Baker pushes off to Barger. It's Baker again under duress. Nebraska seeing what they can do. First things first before that throw. Substitution, reinserted, Hannah Dittmar.
We see Hannah Dittmar coming into the right midfield position for Nebraska. Now, typically she's played in the back line for them, but in years past, she has found herself in the wide part of midfield. So I anticipate that John Walker is looking for Dittmar to be a bigger part of the attack as she's been in years past.
There she is, number 24. But it's Aubrey Baker strolling forward for Maryland. Oderman deals with the cross. Kreutner, nice touch to lose some defenders. JC Johnson teasing in the perimeter of the penalty area. Numbers coming forward now. This is Casey. Tries to get around Corey Ryan. She gets it back from Ryan. Sending the cross in. Mamie Conroy and Nebraska has their first conference win of the season.
Well, Mamie Conroy has been so dangerous, scoring the tying goal against Rutgers last week and then making the difference here again today. We see Jordan Casey getting into the box. And Conroy doesn't get that first one, but she sticks with it. Credit to Jordan Casey on the right side, who not only gets the assist on this goal, but also on the third goal for Nebraska that JC Johnson scored. Great discipline, just a little toe poke, and sometimes that's all you need. Credit to Mamie Conroy and the Nebraska Cornhuskers to win it in overtime.
What work by Jordan Casey on that goal, and it leads to today's pure silk performance of the match. Mamie Conroy, the game-winning goal. She had a pair this afternoon, did number 11 for Nebraska. You expect your game breakers to rise up in overtime, and Mamie Conroy does not disappoint.
Well, she did it on attack. Two fantastic finishes, one in the first half and here again in overtime. But I got to give her some love defensively. She worked so hard to put Maryland under pressure. Fantastic job.
That's it from Lincoln, Nebraska.